Vela here, and this week we have Codex Imperial Agents. Week Red here, and I am joined by AdamHarry.
Hey everyone, I'm back too.
And here we go. This is Codex Imperial Agents. This is
I'm very curious about this. It's a different book than we've seen before.
It is definitely a codex unlike any that we've seen before. It almost really reminds me of, for those of you, this is from way long time in the time of the Thunder Lizards, way back. Then it kind of reminds me of the Dogs of War book from Warhammer Fantasy, which for all you who don't remember, there was a book long ago, decades ago, called Dogs of War, and what it basically was is it was a book of mercenaries, and it was just an army book for Warhammer Fantasy that had a bunch of weird kind of oddball units that you could just attach as mercenaries.
You'll see what we're talking about when we get into it. Let's show the back of the book off real quick though.
So Imperial Agents.
What all's in this book, and we'll go over all this stuff too. But it's Where's the Emperor? So it's that's the showcase. So there's going to be tons of model pictures in this book.
There will be tons of model pictures in this book.
But the forces here, that's the interesting part.
Yeah. So you get you have Tech Priest Engineers of the Adeptus Mechanicus, Death Watch Marines. There's some Grey Knights in here. The Inquisition is in here.
Obviously, Sisters.
There's all kinds of stuff. Obviously, who's right here? This is all Sisters. We know that Sisters.
There's even an Aeronautica Imperialis thing, which is super not. I don't want to say weird, but it's just like the way they fit it in this book is all. It's just different. Yeah. And you'll see what we're talking about. Let's
see what we're talking about.
Let's take a look at the contents.
Okay, here we go. Done. You ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Opening it up. All right.
It's going to be packed full of artwork. Here's a big shot of the Inquisition.
Obviously,
Inquisitor with his crew.
We've seen this before.
Yeah.
It's just in black and white. Imperial Agents, Hands of the Emperor.
He has so many hands.
Look, he's an eagle wearing Space Marine armor with a halberd. It's pretty scary. I like that. Okay, what we all came here to see, here is the table of contents.
Right.
So,
where do you start?
Where do you start? Okay, so let's start at the beginning. First of all, from pages 4 through 22, we have a approximately a little under 20-page section. This is background of all of the of all of the forces that are in this book. So here's your fluff section, just like we've seen in previous, even in say Chaos Legions.
Right.
Had a little tiny section at the start that was here's your page of background on each one of the 9 legions. We're seeing a similar thing here. This book has, let's just count them up really quick. We got.
Starting with Cult Mechanicus.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 new armies that are in this book. Now, what we're going to start to talk about, well, let's go over what they are quickly. Cult Mechanicus.
Yeah, we know what that's going to be.
So they're going to be in there.
Tech Priests. Yeah.
Right. Techie stuff, Martian
Servitors,
stuff. Aeronautica Imperialis. This is basically a little allied faction that deals with the Imperial Air Force, which we know exists. It's
Imperial Navy.
Yeah, it's the Imperial Navy. It's talked about in the fluff a lot, but you don't really get rules for it. Like we kind of get it rolled into Astra Militarum, but here it is as its own thing. And it's basically there is actually an Imperial Navy. So if you're Marines even. Or
you need to call in some air support.
And you're like, we need some air support. You call the Imperial Navy, and if they're around, they're going to be like,
some Valkyries.
Yeah, awesome. Well, here's some aircraft, and it's cool that we're seeing things that basically they're structural. We've heard about them in the novels. You hear about them in the examples, but now we're actually starting to see these are kind of. It's these little kind of weird side forces of the Imperium that we always knew existed, but now we're getting concrete rules that let you actually use these to build armies and use them on the tabletop.
And you'll see this throughout this. There's basically we'll get ahead of ourselves, but there's basically little CADs for each one of these that are just going to fit onto not CADs, little attachments that are going to fit like little puzzle pieces. Attached to your army.
Adeptus Astra Telepathica, also a major from a background point of view. This is a huge, important part of the Imperium.
Astropaths.
But they don't necessarily, you don't
They're
see
everywhere.
these guys on the battlefield, but but apparently they do actually have some delegations that are capable of fighting. And if you needed them, here you go. Here's how you would use them.
Sisters.
The big one everybody is waiting for, the Adeptus Sororitas. And as you can tell, this is I'm not going to say it's a full army list, but
it's almost 30 pages dedicated.
It's a pretty. I mean, this is by far the largest of these detachments. That
starts on page 56 and goes to page 81.
81. So you get a lot of sisters, and we will say right off the bat, just so you guys know, this whole 30-page thing here, this is not identical to the previous Sisters digital book that is out there. This one is actually different.
There are a few subtle differences.
There are.
If you're watching at home or watching this video, you can see through the table of contents what those are. We're not going to go over all that stuff.
No, we're not. But the main thing we want, the takeaway for you guys is that they are the stars of this book. They're front and center. They take up the vast majority of this book, and this is new stuff. This is not just a reprint of the digital codex.
Right.
Death Watch. Yep. Obviously, this is yet another example of some of the uniqueness of this book. This is Death Watch. It represents a small kind of like a special, as opposed to say the Death Watch Codex, which represents a whole army of the Death Watch in mass moving and fighting themselves. This is the equivalent of the oh my gosh, we've encountered something really scary. Get on the phone and see if the Death Watch can help us out. And maybe and this thing is what they'll send to help your army out. It's a very
it's a
small
detachment. It's a small formation.
Exactly.
It's just a piece of the Death Watch.
So
but
this
is really what this book does all over the places. It's because it's the agents of the Imperium. It's all of those inquisitorial forces that again work together to take care of whatever threats need to be taken care of, and they are willing to ally up with your army. So moving on, Death Knight. We have Grey Knights.
Grey Knights, same concept. We know that there's a Grey Knight Codex. That's if you're really using Grey Knights in mass. This is a small Grey Knight strike force that's capable of being dispatched to work with other Imperial
it's got
forces.
key units in the Grey Knights, Terminator squads, Interceptor squads, stuff like that. So we'll get to that.
Moving on, Legion of the Damned. This is kind of cool in that all these other things, these are formal. These are these are organizations of the Imperium. This is hey, we need to contact we
got some bugs to kill. Call Death Watch. We got
Exactly.
some demons to fight. Call Grey Knights.
We got some heretics to burn. Call the sisters.
Yeah.
And those guys have phone numbers. They can be reached. If you're an Inquisitor, you know how to get them.
1-800 kill the burn. Yeah.
Yeah. 1-800
burn the heretic. Whatever.
Burn heretic. Yep.
Heretic
it's
burn,
pretty good.
whatever.
But Legion of the Damned, they're kind of quasi legendary. They come and they go. They're the Doom Rider of the Imperium.
They do cocaine. But I will say that the Legion of the Damned, this is a little sneak peek. They have a lot of elites.
They do have a lot of elites. Officio Assassinorum, obviously, who doesn't love assassins? You need assassins.
You know what to call.
Call at 1-800 need kill fast.
Kill fast.
Kill fast. And the Inquisition, same thing. This is aside from Sisters, this is another fairly lengthy, going from 118 to 136, about 20 pages. The Inquisition, this is also not a reprint of the Inquisition digital codex that came out a couple years back. This is a whole new version of how the Inquisition works.
Cool. Well, let's take a look at some of the fluff real quick.
Absolutely. First of all, oh my gosh.
Lots of pretty pictures.
Lots of pretty pictures.
If you remember a couple of weeks ago, well, I don't know when you're going to watch this video, but there were a couple of weeks ago, there was a big thing at Warhammer World, and everybody was freaking out that all the Sisters models were gone. Where are the Sisters models? They were taking.
What does it mean?
They were taking photos, folks.
It means they were taking pictures. Once again, rumor control. All of these miniatures live in the case in Warhammer World. So when they need to take pictures of them,
they might take them out occasionally.
They take them out of the cases
maybe swap the
to take pictures of them, and then they put them back.
They put them back.
It's okay. It's okay. So what do we have here? What we have here is some really old miniatures. So I'm sure so everyone feels sorry for the guy at Games Workshop who's in charge of dusting the miniatures.
Oh yeah.
Because we got sisters, we have some old classic sisters. You got Repentia, my favorite, Pilgrim Hat.
Yep.
Inquisitor. I
think he has a belt buckle.
Love that guy.
There's also the Jericho. He's just hanging out.
Yep. You got Jakaro. He's just hanging out there. Karamazov. This guy's been sitting on a shelf for a long time.
Oh man.
Yep. Speaking of sitting on the shelf for a long time, Penitent Engines.
Oh yeah.
You got an Exorcist.
You got a couple of those in the office.
We do have 3 Penitent Engines. I use them to keep all my Post-it notes from blowing away.
It's true. I've seen it.
Paperweights.
He's not making that up.
Yep. Not 1 but 2 of them.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
Extras in the background. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go take a look at that.
Okay, background. In the Name of the Emperor, this is pure fluff. It's all background. What's up with the Imperium? Get some fantastic new artwork over here. I really like it.
Cool stuff, yeah.
Moving on, we're going to talk about, you get lots of these weird little side Bears of the Witch Sight. So here's background on
Adeptus Astra Telepathica.
one of the new sections that we're going to show you in our coverage this week. Like I said, once again, as we always do here for these things, we're not going to show you the entire book. That's not the goal here. We want to give you some peeks as to some of the really cool sections.
Yeah.
And get everyone excited about it. So there's that. Moving on. I know. Are you all ready? Are you ready? Say you're ready.
I'm ready.
In Internet land, ready?
Do it. There they are.
There they are. I'm running my hands over a physical copy of rules for the Sisters of Battle.
It's not digital. It's a real
like,
book.
And it's not a white dwarf. It's not white dwarf rules. It's actually real.
In a hardback.
It's been a long time,
Man.
my friends. Out there in Grimdark Land. It's been a long time. All right, Sisters of Battle. And also, really quick.
Skipping around.
We know. And the New Inquisition. Where have we seen this before? Cover of a Codex from long ago. But those are three of the major sections. We're going to be right back with a look at the first one.
So here you have the forces of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica. And again, this is just an example of what you can expect. Now, these are new. A lot of these... basically, each one of these factions has their own detachment. I don't want to say factions. Each one of these sections has their own detachment. So we're going to be looking at just kind of an example of what this looks like.
An imperial organization.
Right.
Each one of these imperial organizations.
So you can see here, factions and allies. It talks about that here. But really, this is what I wanted to show off, which was the unique detachment. You start with the Psychana division, which is 1 HQ and then an optional 1 to 3 elites from this section here. The restrictions: all units from this detachment must have the Astra Telepathica faction, which they do. And then command benefit is Empiric Link. The Premier Psyker or Astropath from this detachment harnesses warp charge points on the result of a 3+ when attempting to manifest psychic powers within 12 inches of 5 or more Weird Vein Psykers from the same Psychana division. So, what does that mean? Well, you have the option. There's actually 2 HQs. We're showing off this one, which is the Premier Psyker. You can take that, all the points, all the same rules right there. And if the Premier Psyker or Astropath, which is the other HQ option, is within 5 or more of those, you get a really cool command benefit. You just get to harness warp charges on a better scale. So, Big Red, what else are we going to show off from this section?
What I really like about this section is that, once again, this is an important imperial organization. This is the Astra Telepathica. These are the guys who are in charge of basically. These are the people who train astropaths. These are the people who are responsible for all of the communications that happen within the Imperium, and these are the people who formally train. No, not navigators. That's a different house. They train psychers.
Yeah, but they navigate. The astropaths help navigate or communicate. Excuse me.
Correct. They communicate.
Communicate, yo.
And these guys go back. I mean, there is talk of astropaths in Rogue Trader in the original book, but it's always like, oh, there's an astropath and we're fighting over him in this battle or whatever. But now you're getting to see that this organization actually has people who are capable of fighting. So they can actually defend themselves. It's not just I'm an old man with a stick and I'm blind. No. These guys are actually decent,
powerful psychers on top of that.
Yeah, they train. So it's basically if you are a psyker and you're capable of harnessing psychic powers and you're not, say, immediately killed and fed to the Emperor because you're crappy, or you're so powerful that they're going to send you to one of the various factions of the Marines, Grey Knights, whatever. The guys who actually get you are these guys. You end up, which is probably actually the vast majority of them, end up.
Well, aside from the ones you had eaten by the Emperor.
Who are also part of the Astra Telepaths. Sure. They also run the Astronomicon.
Every time I think of this, though, I always think of Dune.
Yes.
The Guild
There's a little bit of just a little bit of Dune in 40K, and by a little bit I mean like half of it. So
one of my favorite cult classic movies. Anyway,
so obviously you're gonna get it's a new detachment. It has 2 HQs and it has Weird Vein Psykers as their elites. And it is its own detachment. So it's a detachment. You're going to be able to build armies around it, and it's just a whole different take. It's once again, and this book, more importantly than the stats on the Weird Vein Psykers and the stats on the Astropath is that That's what this book is. So we're getting to see something that we've never seen before
Yeah.
on the battlefield, and they're rolling it up and saying, "Here's a new Imperial organization. Here's its CAD. Sorry, here's its
Detachment,
unique detachment. This is how you use it." And of course, according to however you play, either in your local store or in tournaments you attend, this is just going to give you. This is just a new tool that's going to be in your Imperial toolbox.
One more detachment that you can just tack on to whatever.
Exactly.
You know.
And what this is going to mean is that because there's 9 of these things out there, and they're mostly, while some of them are large things like the Sisters and the Inquisition, lots of them like this one. This is a very small investment.
This one's only a couple pages.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a large investment in points too.
No.
So you're going to be, what this book is going to do is this book is going to blow apart the current meta for army building within the Imperial side of the game.
Right.
Because there's just going to be all kinds of weird, crazy ally combos that you're going to see that are going to come out of this book.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, the guy looks totally awesome.
Yeah, and these models aren't new. They've been out for the old metal ones were out for a long time, but they're coming back.
Yeah, there's not a single new model that is in any of these army lists in this book. So this is basically saying, here's a bunch of models that are just they're out there, and here's new ways to use them, and now you can actually build detach. So it's structures, it's rule structures to build that are going to completely change the game that use existing models that, to be honest, some of them are probably models that have kind of fallen to the wayside.
Yeah.
So that's it for the Astra Telepathica. We're going to move on and show you the next one.
So this is the big one. This is the Adeptus Sororitas Sisters Battle.
Yes.
This is the big one. I don't know how else to say it. So here we go.
Here we go. Flipping through
Flip right in. We're going to show this one off. This is the forces right here. They actually get 2 detachments, which is kind of neat. They get their...
so you can use the Sisters in a really
super
tiny
small Ministorum delegation here.
Right, so this is, you ask them, hey, we need
some backup.
We need like 1 or 2 guys, and 1 or 2 guys shows up. This is the really small...
This is an HQ and an optional elite choice. And then basically... they have the Shield of Faith special rule, which is later on.
Right.
So we'll leave you guys guess on that one. But the Vestal Task Force here which
is the larger. So this is
if you want to run
build
a
an actual
Sisters army. Exactly. Right. This one's got, if you're an old school player, this is basically the old Force Org chart. So you've got 1 HQ, 2 troops, and 1 elite choice here.
Mandatory.
And then everything else is optional. So you got 1 extra HQ, up to 4 more troops, up to 2 more elites, and then 3 fast tech, 3 heavy support. Very, very familiar to anybody that's played for previous editions.
Exactly. And they get, and their special rules
They have a couple of different, obviously the restrictions, they all have to be Sisters Battle. Command benefits, once per game, you can pray for salvation, which is the Army of Faith special rule here, which allows them to reroll any saving throws of 1 until the start of your next turn. Which is pretty good.
For the whole army.
Nice. For all the units.
Cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, units in this detachment. So the whole army that from this detachment. And they also have the Blessed Warrior rule, which that's just reroll Warlord trait.
Which everybody gets.
Yeah. And then we also have their special war gear list, which, most of these are going to be pretty familiar.
Yeah.
Get your standard shotguns, Storm Bolter, Commie Bolter, all that fun stuff.
This is all standard Sisters of Battle equipment that we've seen over
Flavor
several codexes. All the normal stuff.
The Eviscerator's back.
And on the relics, which we're not going to show you now, but you can at least see what they are. And as you can tell, these are the old classic.
Again, the Sisters are getting their old. They're getting relics. They're getting their 2 different detachments here. They're getting their own warlord traits, and they're getting a bunch of units that we're going to show off real quick. So, which units are we showing off?
Yep. First of all, as the first couple pages, we're just going to show you. These are standard types of things. These are things that we've seen before. They've been in codexes all over the place. Here is the meat and potatoes of your army, the Battle Sisters squad. And we'll go over this one in depth. So you got 60 points, 5 Battle Sisters.
Yep.
That's not a bad.
That's not bad. That's 12 points a pop.
That's not a bad cost. You can have up to 15 additional, so 20 Sisters units at 12 points a model. Not bad. They come with bolt pistols, bolt guns, frag grenades, and crack. And they have Act of Faith and Shield of Faith. And here's the Act of Faith special rule. 1 use only. You can use it in your shooting phase or your assault phase, and you gain preferred enemy until the end of the turn.
Yeah,
pretty
nice
cool.
little buff.
Like that. And then all kinds of, kind of standard upgrades.
Yeah,
We'll let you
flamers,
go over theirs.
Melta, all that fun stuff. We've seen that all before, so not a big deal. Pretty much the same stat line.
And you can put them in rhinos or immolators.
Yep, dedicated transports.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Uriah.
And where have we seen these miniatures before? We've seen these miniatures for the last 20 years.
Metal.
These ones may have been repainted. I can't tell. Those may be new. They look pretty. Those look pretty sharp.
They look cleaned up.
Yeah, those look really, really cleaned up. So I would not be surprised if those are redone. Now over here, so this one of the absolutely kind of standard. I mean, if you're playing Sisters, you have these in your armies. Over here, as an example, an old classic character from the days of yore.
He's an HQ.
Uriah Jacobus.
Yep.
He's 100 points. He is a dude. He's got his.
Not a sister.
He's not a sister. So.
But he is actually part of the army. So.
Yes. So one of the first things that you're going to notice is that there are units in here that are not strictly Adeptus Sororitas. So the Vestal Task Force does let you use, and this is kind of one of the things that, as we show you another couple pages from the potential units that can be used in the army, is there are some kind of shakeups.
Yeah, which was interesting. They're not all Sisters of Battle units.
Right.
There's also Minister on Priests and stuff like that too.
Right. So
you remember those guys from previous
So
editions,
the Vestal Task Force, which is the largest of the two detachments in this book, definitely it's not representing a force of 100% sisters who have been dispatched to the battlefield, which if you limited yourself you could, but really it represents, this is a strike force that's sent by the Adeptus Ministorum, which is the church.
Right.
So obviously the sisters are going to be the main parts of it, but it's not just sisters. You also get all of the other not female, and female, just both gendered Ministorum parts of it. There's the priests and all that kind of stuff are coming along with it, which we'll show you in just a second. So what do we have on Uriah?
Well, he's got some special relics. He's got his Redeemer, the Redeemer, which is his crazy shotgun. So it's just pretty crazy. It's a Strength 4, AP 4, Assault 2 shotgun.
I think he beat up a Space Marine scout and took that thing.
Pretty beefy. And he also has the
Banner of Sanctity.
Banner of Sanctity, right. Friendly models within 12 inches of him have the Fearless and Counter-Attack special rules while he's alive.
He also has Protector of the Faith, which we're not going to read you because it's incredibly long.
But let's keep going.
Kind of stuff. All right, moving on. Here we go. Once again, we are not going to show you the entire list. There's a lot of Sisters units in this. You saw them in the table of contents. We've shown you these two. Now we're going to show you
this page.
This page. And this page is, we're showing you this couple of pages simply as an example of we're dealing with something that's different.
Yes.
So Death Cult Assassins. We've seen Death Cult Assassins before. They've been in older codexes, but these were not part of the previous Sisters army list.
They were not.
So, but they are now. Now, they're not sisters, and they're not described as sisters. In the background, they're exactly what they were before. It's simply, Games Workshop has basically taken some of these models that were kind of ecclesiarchy related, and they've pulled them all in and said, your guys' new home is this army list.
But yeah, Death Cult Assassins. I don't remember their old stats, so based off their new ones, they're pretty scary in close combat.
Yeah, they have the weapon skill 5. That's what they used to be.
Yeah.
That was their big hallmark.
But they're also initiative 6. So that's the scary part to me. And they come with 2 power swords, so they're going to run around with 3 attacks base. 2 attacks base plus 1.
Oh, they do have power swords.
And,
wow.
4 attacks on the charge.
Those are nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
On top of that, if you remember Uriah, we just saw counterattack.
So it's 30 points for 2 of them, and you can include up to additional 8
for 15
points a model, which is 15. So you're paying 15 points for a weapon skill 5, 2 attack, initiative 6 power weapon.
Right. On top of that, they also have a 5-up involved because they have uncanny reflexes.
Yeah. Now if you blink in these ladies' general directions, they're dead. So that's not what you're paying for.
No.
But that's a lot of offense if you can get them there safely.
They can ride in a rhino or an immolator.
Oh.
So they can get a transport
from
the Sisters proper.
Yeah,
so
you do not want to be charged by a bunch of those.
Now, what about the Celestians?
Celestians, once again, now we're back to more meat and potatoes. This is standard. These are both elites.
Yep.
As an example, so we're in the elite section. You got 70 points, 5 Celestians. These are basically veterans. These are the equivalent of veteran Space Marines for the Sisters.
Yeah, on top of that too, you can have 5 more of them for 14 points a pop.
You'll see that these all have 2 attacks and 9 leadership,
which is
so
nice.
they're pretty good. And same equipment as Battle Sisters, same special rules as Battle Sisters. You're just basically, instead of 12 points a model, you're paying 14, and you're getting the enhanced attacks and leadership out of them. So there you go. There's 4 of the units that are in this army. There's a lot more.
I think they can also have a bunch of special weapons too, if I remember correctly.
One of the Celestians may take an item from the special. Yes.
Yep. So there you go.
And they can take more stuff. But yeah,
you can take up to 2 special weapons, or a special weapon and heavy weapon. So, but there's your veterans.
And their max squad size is 10, not 20.
Not 20.
So it is a smaller, more. Anyone who's for all 18 of you people out there who are giant Super Sisters players for the last 15 years, you'll be very familiar with this. But there are more unexpected units and things that used to not be part of the army that were kind of, if you guys remember back a couple editions back to the old Witch Hunters and Demon Hunters codexes,
that's exactly what
there's a lot of those units that kind of lost their way and they didn't really fit and they didn't have a place to live. Games Workshop has taken a lot of those units.
And now they
Death Cult Assassins are one of them. You got the table of contents to see the other ones. They're now living as part of this army. There's a formation or 2 in here as well.
Yep.
So, moving on, we have another army to show you guys. Forces of the Inquisition.
Yes.
Okay, now this one, once again, this is pretty different.
Yeah, it's a very different take on this.
They have reformulated what the Inquisition kind of is and does within this book, what their detachment is capable of, and it's very much now. It's not the kind of mix and match, build whatever you want. Now it's very much you're gonna pick which one of the 3 Ordos your Inquisitor is from.
Right.
And that is a critical decision.
I'm really glad they brought that back.
Which is cool.
Yeah, so it gives Inquisitors a lot more flavor without really sacrificing gameplay, in my opinion.
Yes. Also, just really quick, I'm going to put it out here right now because this is a new formation.
Well, there's a couple things. There's the detachment here.
Sure.
There's also there's a couple formations that we're not going to show.
Yes.
All of them, but
correct.
There's other stuff in this section.
But there is one big thing that we want to tell all you 40K people out there: serval skulls are gone.
Yes.
There are no serval skulls.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Adios, muchachos.
Later. All right. So where are we showing off first?
So you have your 1 HQ.
Oh yeah, command benefit real quick. Authority of the Inquisition. You may pick 1 Inquisitor. Can be a unique one, so Codiez or whatever. This detachment, from this detachment to generate and use a Warlord trait, even if they are not your army's Warlord. For the purpose of this Warlord trait, the Inquisitor is considered to be your Warlord. So basically, if you take an Inquisitor, and he's not the Warlord, he still gets to roll on the chart.
Yes.
And there's actually 3 charts.
He's still kind of the boss.
Which is kind of
because he's an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a bunch of war gear. All the war gear here. This is all standard inquisitorial stuff. Nothing crazy here, except of course
there's some relics. Inquisitor relics. You're gonna get those.
Except what's not here, servo skulls.
Not servo skulls. That's right.
All right. So we're gonna flip on. So obviously there's 3 Ordos. You get the named character from each of the Ordos. We all know who those guys are. There's Codiez and Karamazov and those dudes. And then we get the generic ones, which is what we're going to show you now. So really quick, just here's 2 of them as an example. There's the Ordo Malleus Inquisitor. There's the Ordo Hereticus Inquisitor. Obviously, the other guy is on the next page. 25 points a pop.
Yeah, there's really not a ton of different. Well, there's some difference. I should back up. So this is the anti-demon Inquisitor, right?
Yes.
And so he's got a Demon Blade option, Hell Rifle, Incinerator versus the
anti-heretic guy.
He's got an Inferno Pistol option, a Condemner Bolt Gun, Thunder Hammer, that type of stuff. So, Null Rod. So there's differences in the warrior options. Stat-wise, these guys are pretty much the same.
Stat-wise, they're identical, and their default war gear and special rules are also identical. They're going to be generating powers slightly differently.
Slightly different.
Because of where they're, obviously because of their Ordo, but due to their Ordo, the big thing, the big difference is obviously their options. And their options are very, very different based on obviously how they're trained and who they're supposed to go kill.
Right. So those are your HQ options. And there's more.
Yeah. So we're going to be right back and show you a cool new unit.
So we have the Inquisitorial Henchman Warband that we're showing off here. And this is the big formation. This is what makes them really special and unique.
Right, and this is cool in that what you're going to see is that this is the thing that really has updated and defined the central role of both Inquisitors and the Ordos themselves.
Right.
So previously it was just a
generic. Take this generic Inquisitor and do
I mean,
generic things.
exactly. And let's be honest. How most people were using Inquisitors before is, were they really focused on building a henchman and war gear that was in any way,
flavorful,
or were they
cool.
just shopping for the best combination of war gear?
I'm gonna go with B.
I'm gonna go with B, but no more. So what we have here is we have a formation, and as you can tell, it's really cool. You get the Inquisitor, you get a unit of acolytes.
0-1.
You can have priests. You can have crusaders.
Demon hosts are back.
Demon hosts are back. Hence, crusaders. What are those?
I don't know.
Tell you what, they're not sisters. That's what they are. Archoflagellants are there. Death Cult is there. The Tech Priest Engineer. Oh my God, 0 through 6. Jacaro.
Yeah.
Totally awesome.
Hey,
Astropathy.
we're the
So
monkeys.
it's all of the kind of normal henchmen, but that's not what makes the formation cool. What makes the formation cool are the special rules. So, Authority of the Inquisition, we just read that one. That's the same thing.
You get a warlord trait even if you're not the warlord.
Right, and there is a special warlord trait chart for each of the Ordos that is different. So whoever you pick, that's going to influence your cool special rule that your Inquisitor can do. And then this is the really neat one. Look at this. Chambers Militant. This formation's Inquisitor may have requested additional support from one of the Chambers Militant according to the Ordo that they hail from. So, based on which Ordo you picked, whoever your Inquisitor is from, whether it's a generic one or whether it's one of the named characters like Cody has or those guys, this formation can take extra, can take an extra unit. Exactly. So, if you took an Ordo Malleus Inquisitor, you can have a unit of Grey Knights.
Cool.
Added to this formation. If you took a
Hereticus.
Ordo Hereticus, you can take a Sisters of Battle squad, and if you took Ordo Xenos, you can take a Deathwatch Veteran squad.
Heck yeah.
So, I think that's totally cool.
Yeah.
It's fluffy, it's neat, it makes the Inquisition feel more like it's an actual thing that has a structure that matters.
Yeah.
And that is cool, and that's not just, I'm looking for an excuse to take a bunch of Sacrotrope grenades and Circle Skulls.
Yeah, and Radigreen. And again, you're gonna get your unique warlord traits. I believe there's some relics back there too.
There is a whole set of relics.
So yeah, this whole section is really cool. Like this is a great change to the Inquisition, and I hope players really embrace that and have some cool, flavorful stuff.
And that is our. Oh, we're gonna zoom out because whoa, craziness. Vertigo. So there we go. That in a nutshell, that's our quick peek at Codex Imperial Agents. It's a fantastic book. I think it has so many options and new CADs and detachments that, like I said, this is going to completely shake up how anyone who uses any of the forces of the Imperium plays. I mean, if you thought that all the weird combos and building part of this army and part of this other army and allied this has lots of opportunities now. It's going to be
Just wait.
Yeah, just wait. When this book hits, we're going to see. I guarantee you, this book is going to shake up the meta, and we're going to see new army builds that no one has thought of yet.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty nuts.
Now that said, where is my Codex Xenos Mercenaries book? That's what I want.
I know my Tyranids need some
Yeah,
nerfs. That's
exactly.
what I'm talking about.
I play
your
Eldar,
Tau,
I play
your
Orcs.
Eldar.
I want the book that's just like this with like Orc mercenaries, Kroot mercenaries, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yes. Dogs of War, Xeno style. Make it happen, GW. All right, I'm AdamHarry for BoLS.
And I'm Big Red.
Thanks again for watching. Hey, BoLS fans, AdamHarry back. Real quick, just want to show off the Forces of the Death Watch. This is for all you folks. Oh, he's coming back. Gotta go.